Welcome back to Shouting Electronics. On the workbench today we've got this air conditioner control board or circuit board, which is, I believe, from a Trane air conditioner that was pulled out by the aircon tech, and they asked me to take a look at it and see if it can be repaired. So let's see exactly what is wrong with it. I don't see anything obvious on this side, but let's flip it around and I'm sure you can notice that already. Let's get a small screwdriver. That should be small enough, eh? If you look over here, we've got some signs of overheating, where it's actually gone and taken off the coating there and the solder mask on top of those tracks. So we'll have to just sort that out. Whatever was connected onto these terminals must have drawn a bit too much current. It is still continuous, but it's better just to sort it out. And then if we look over here, here's where our main damage is. Okay, if I look over here, okay, so if we look here, this track is burnt away completely, quite violently, and it's nice and sooted over there, and it's also, this track's blown over here. And if I look, okay, so if we take a look here, this is your live that just loops to all the terminals for switching purposes there. Comes to this terminal, line-C. Don't know if you can see that label there, line-C. Okay, follow it, line-C, it's burnt all the way into this relay over here. And then if we find the other pin on that relay, it's over here, which runs through to this relay and down to these terminals over here, which you can see this one's also flaking off, so that's also overheated. Now if we look over here, that is the load terminal, so that's actually your fan speed. So it looks like there might have been a short on the fan itself, or just a fan drew too much current, maybe it had a locked rotor or whatever, overheated this track, but these two didn't survive. So what we're going to do is we're going to sort out this section over here, just put a wire jumper on and solder it and make it nice and strong again. What's that? That is out F, normally open, out F in. I have no idea what out F is. Okay, and then we're going to clean up this section over here. Also do the same thing, put nice thick jumpers in and solder them in place. And we'll also test the relays to see if they're switching over and making sure they don't have any burnt contacts, or contacts that are welded or normally open. So I'm going to clean this now and then we can carry on. Okay, so to clean it, I'm going to use some IPA, isopropanol alcohol, and a used toothbrush. Whoops, wrong way. Okay, so let's scrub it a bit. Trying to get rid of all the carbon buildup in that, because that carbon tracking maybe can become conductive. As you can probably see, I'm lifting up the top trace nicely. And I'm busy wiping away those marks. Just give it a good little scrub. Because this section of the board is mains voltage, 230 volts, so we don't want to have any tracking. Once we fix it and tested it, I'll give it a nice spray of clear lacquer. I don't know if you can see too well, but I peeled off that one trace already there. Those the wrong tweezers to grab. Okay, that part's might. Okay, so now that it's nice and clean, it doesn't look too bad. Looks like we'll be able to do something with it. Okay, so I'm going to, for this board, because of it looks like high current, I'm going to go and use 1mm panel wire. I'm just going to use solid because it will work nicely on this board. And being solid wire, it's much nicer. And yeah, needs a lot more manipulation. We'll just take it all the way to the end of that connector there. Okay, this is actually very thick wire, and this one's a small little section we've got to do here. See, I'm trying to cut it before I solder it, so that when I cut it I don't put any stress on the solder. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and these are 12-volt relays, so I can just use a normal, whoa, where is it? 9-volt battery to cause a relay to pull in, and then we can test the contacts. Okay, before I test the relay, I just noticed that this one compressor normally open output down here. You can see on the back it's got holes with the little solder fillets around it, but there's no terminal in there. Unlike this one over here, you can see there's no solder fillets, so there was never anything in there. So I've just pulled a board out of another, or a terminal out of another thing. I've got lots of things lying around here. So we're going to just give the terminal a bit of a clean, and then we're going to put the terminal in there, and then we can test the relays. Okay, so let's just give it a bit of a fresh solder before we suck out the old solder. Just open up those holes nicely. I think when they removed this faulty board, they must have just pulled the terminal out. it's not the neatest. Let's try heat it up a bit. It's not exactly the same terminal, but yeah, it's a piece of metal. It'll do its job. Okay, there's a good amount of solder there. Okay, so now we've got our new compressor terminal. Mustn't touch it when it's hot. Okay, so now I've got my battery over here with a wire. So I need to find somewhere decent to find a negative that feeds all these relays, so I don't have to jump negative to negative to negative to negative to negative to negative to negative. There's nothing that actually looks like a ground plane here, man. Why? Okay, I've got a voltage regulator here at 7805 CV, and the center of your regulator is ground. You got in, ground, and out. In, ground, out. So I can either use the tab, it's negative, or I can just pop the wire onto here. Okay, looking at it now, that does look like a ground plane. Okay, so there I've got ground. So now I should be able just to touch on the positive from my battery and have relays click. Let's see. Obviously that didn't work. Okay, so I'll probably mess it up, because I use a ULN 2003 buffer chip here, which means they're switching the negatives, because I don't want to blow anything on this board. So I'm going to just identify which is the terminals for the coil, and then I'm going to mark it, and then we'll test relay by relay. Okay, so now that should, you can hear the click. You can probably hear the ohm meter as well when it does beep. Okay, so that's that relay. So it should change over which two contacts. This isn't exactly the friendliest board to have uprights. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so you can see that's the normally. Normally close to there. We're looking over here, which is a normally open, so when I power up the relay, that should close. Okay, and the multimeter shows nice continuity there. Okay, so let's go to the next relay. Okay. So tap that one up. Okay, so now we're going to go on to this relay over here. Okay, sorry for that little break. Well, you didn't see a break, you just saw a jump cut. Okay, so I'm going to go across this one here, across there, and okay, so that relay is good. Okay, let's move my power over to the next one. Okay, then we're going to check from that terminal to that terminal. Hope you can okay. Sorry. Like I said, this board doesn't want to sit still, so I'm going to check from that terminal to that terminal. Because from there, no, that's my coil. So from there to there to there. Okay, so it's switched on there at the moment. We're going to See if it changes over to here. Hello. Okay, that's strange. I'm not hearing my relay click. Let me see if I've got resistance on you. Okay. Okay, so you see I've got 0.4 ohms. 0.4, which is the same as the other relay, but I'm not hearing a click. Let me swap polarity. Ah, there was a reverse polarity diode on there, and I just happen to have the polarity wrong. So let's go back onto continuity mode. Yeah, this is difficult to do. We should have really come with 3 hands, and there we go. So that looks okay. Okay, so basically, let's just clean off the flux on the board here. Let's make it look like I was never here. I think that's my marks for my coils. Okay, so that basically should all be working. I'm basically going to give it back to the aircon technician. He's going to install it in the unit and then see if it's grafting 100% or if it goes up in smoke. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, sorry about that. And please remember to subscribe and click the little bell icon if you want to know when we put up new videos. Thanks for watching.